now return to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
What we're looking for is a new, fresh voice that'll wake up the people.
Telling America things no one wants to hear. He's irreverent, outspoken, and entertaining.
Hey, there he is. The big man's back.
He is Lionel on the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
You can find everything Lionel by going to Twitter, Lionel Media. Is it the same thing on YouTube, Lionel Media as well?
Lionel Y2K or Lionel Nation, whatever.
Lionel Nation. Hold on, you got Lionel Nation now too?
Well, I changed it a little bit, but Lionel Y2K has always been my handle since that 2,000 minutes.
How many subscribers you got? I'm almost at 6,000.
Like 53, something like that, but over 1.2 million downloads or views. Rather.
53,000 or 53 or 53?
No, 5,300, 53.
I think I say they're going to be either 53 total people, 5,300 or 53,000.
5,300. What's the difference? 53.
Lionel, I like to follow Lionel on Lionel Media. It's right there on my phone on Twitter. Lionel, have you heard the latest development with Cox? You are an attorney. I wanted to get and you're not only are you an attorney, but you're also, a radio veteran, strategic guru, if you will, on various radio formats and protocol. What is your opinion on what Cox did to me Friday?
Well, first, I can't. I'm not following it as closely as you, so I don't want to misspeak.
Right.
But I want you to know one thing. It's an old adage, and it's always worked for me. And it goes something like this. You always know you're over the target when you start taking flak. See, bombers would say, I wonder if the Germans are down there. Haven't heard anything yet. Nope, we're nowhere near. Then all of a sudden, kaboom, we're over the target. So I think it kind of, if anything, it's an indicium, an indication that whatever you're doing seems to be rather effective. That's all I will say. But I want to, if I could.
If you will.
If you will.
If you may. If you may.
I love that. And I don't mock you. I just love to
listen, I don't mind you mocking me because everybody else does, and that's kind of the half of the shtick is the mocking gimmick, so mock away, kid.
No. It's not mocking because imitation is the greatest form of flattery or something. But let me tell you something. A while back, this past week, I haven't talked to you since Brian Williams and all this stuff about Jon Stewart and blah, 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 blah. And you know what amazes me still to this day, which nobody has ever brought up in our media? Do you realize that this is the only man who ever received any kind of negative publicity for telling a lie about Iraq? I'm looking at the news this morning, and I'm looking at international, which I always do, and I'm looking at alternative, and I'm looking at what the world is saying, and then I look at what we're talking about, what we're discussing. And it's two completely different worlds.
Lionel from Lionel Media. Lionel, you make a great point, and you just the light bulb just went off in my dense ass head.
The epiphany.
And that is, you're right. So out of all the egregious and stupid and distrustful and untruthful and shenanigans that are happening abroad in the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war, whatever one you want to pick over there, Brian Williams telling a fabrication of a particular incident that didn't happen really is like the lesser of 9 million different evils. There's so many other things. Is this the classic government, hey, let's jump on this to get everybody's eye off the ball? Is that what this is?
It's a diversion. It's sleight of hand. It's an amazing thing. We have yet to hear. This is the part. Let me just give you a couple of things. Let's just start off with today's thing, ISIS. This kills me, all right? Now, around the world, people are saying, why isn't anybody emphasizing the fact that ISIS started off by beheading Christians? In the United States, again, and I don't want to rag on this, but this is Christianity. Protestant, Catholic. That's it. To us, that's it. To the rest of the world, you have Coptics. In Egypt, go to Israel, go to Jerusalem, and look at so many Catholics from different countries, and Orthodox and Eastern. Okay, when ISIS was beheading Christians, nobody said a word. Then they started beheading Muslims, and by the way, a beheading is a beheading. Human being is a human being. Then all of a sudden it got traction, and now they're back to Christians again.
And nobody cares.
Not saying anything. Now, one of the things which is interesting, let's assume that me, you, and Manson and 25 sat down and we said, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Do you mean to tell me, let me get this straight, that the governments around the world have no idea who ISIS are? We are the torture champions of the world. We know torture, stress positions, waterboarding, and we learned it from the best. You mean to tell me that nobody looked at one of these videos and said, hey, that's Murray. Yeah, I know him. I went to school with him. I know where his brother lives. We'll get to the bottom of this. Let me tell you a little story, which is one of the greatest stories, which never really got the attention, and the FBI has always poo-pooed it.
Lionel from Lionel Media on Twitter. I got to reset every once in a while because you never take a breath. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh no, I just get excited. I just love.
I'm the best hype guy, man. I just throw little resets in there, playing.
You're the Bobby Heenan.
Remind me not to forget to ask you about my friend Alex Jones. Somebody on Twitter, Mad Mike, told me to ask you about my buddy Alex getting his something canceled off of YouTube or something.
Documentary.
Do you know anything about that, Lionel?
Oh, every other week, something is.
Well, tell Alex.
What are we talking about this week?
Tell Alex tell him I said hi, and he's been on the show before. Nothing but love for him. Unlike most.
He is unbelievable. Unbelievable. He is one of the most revolutionary individuals in media. As are you.
I love Alex. Tell him I said hi. I need to have him on again. Okay. All right. Continue on before you were so rudely interrupted.
And by the way, do me a favor, and I want you to get a guy on named Dale Watson, who's the best country music performer out of Austin, who will knock your you know what in the dirt. I'm sorry,
is he touring in this area? I'll put him on my stage.
He is mostly Texas bound. He is the real McCoy. Anyway, let me tell you this story. You're going to love this. And there's an analogy here. In 1964, remember when the missing civil rights workers couldn't find him in Philadelphia, Mississippi? Remember that? They couldn't find these guys, and the FBI was saying, where are they? How do we get to them? Remember that? 25, it was these poor workers, Schwarber and others. It was just horrible.
Right.
This is a 1964 Goodman.
25 wasn't even alive. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, but Mozart, you've heard of him, right?
Yeah.
Lincoln. Well, I wasn't alive then either. Anyway, so what happened was
Lionel's such a dick. Go ahead.
The FBI called this guy named Greg Scarpa. This guy was a straightened out guy from the Colombo. Hitman extraordinaire. His nickname was the Grim Reaper. Look at the picture of this guy.
He's like a Richard Fabrizi rolling around Tampa.
I mean, no. Tampa has nothing on this stuff. This I know about. He was the real deal. Mm-hmm. So let me tell you what they did. They went down and they said, supposedly, hey, guess what? There's a guy named Lawrence Bird, Larry Bird, but Lawrence, we think he knows something about that. Can you help us out? Greg Scarpa said, sure. So they sent him to Mississippi. He picked this guy up, took him to, supposedly, now the FBI denies this, a place called Camp Shelby, pistol whipped him, threatened to castrate him until he told Scarpa where these three missing civil rights workers were. In like less than 20 minutes, he came back and he said, here they are, here's the information, I'm going back to New York. Now, with that analogy, just using common sense, do you mean to tell me that nobody knows who ISIS is? Even a couple of people here and there. Even a couple of people.
Since we probably know who they are, why are we letting them just frolic around over there? I mean, why?
Because of the reaction. Don't you understand?
Oh, because we need a bad guy.
Yeah, we need a big bad wolf.
But put it this way, it's not just us. This causes everyone around the world to look to governments to say, protect us, do something. Problem, reaction, solution. It's mind-boggling. So this is the thing that just gets me. I don't understand why we're scratching our heads and we're saying, wow, I just don't understand what's going on here? And all our pathetic news does is they just sit back and say, well, here's the latest video.
Now,
what a shame. What are we going to do?
Lionel from Lionel Media. So, Lionel, with regards to the Brian Williams deal, did it come within, or was it the standard, Cox versus Bubba / cease and desist, your competition blows you in, or was it self-policing on the, maybe the editorial division of NBC kind of doing an audit, if you will, because they were given the heads up? Did it come from
all of the above? All of the above.
Was it self-policed or what they turned in?
Well, this was a guy, Bubba, who, let's face it, he wanted to be a rock star. And you've got Tom Brokaw, who's the Mac Daddy, the Big Daddy, the Granddaddy. He's sitting in the wings and he's saying, I don't like this. I'm old school. I'm OG when it comes to news. I don't like this. Either you make up your mind, you want to be a pop star or do you want to be a newsman? And what happened was, had the story just been one story about RPGs, Iraq, they'd have said, you know what, forget it. It came out on Thursday. By Monday, it would have been forgotten. But that somebody was just waiting, who came forward and said, that's not the only story. What? Yeah. You see, there were others as well. And then they're looking around, they're saying, who knew about this? Well, I did. And then the momentum starts. And let me tell you something. When Twitter in this country, we were all over him. When it comes to war, when it comes to serious matters, the Ukraine, the next side of the next war, we don't know anything. But when it comes to Deflategate, Tom Brady's balls, when it comes to Brian Williams, we know SNL 40th anniversary, the Grammys,
Bruce Jenner getting a sex change.
Because all the news channels carry it.
I'm sorry, sir?
I was saying because all the news channels carry it. I mean, they don't
pop
put
culture
any
deal.
Yeah, they don't put any of the stuff that you're talking about on regular news
because
channels.
Americans are a bunch of knuckle-dragging rubes, and they don't care about, the scandals that are happening over in ISIS and stuff. They want to hear about Bruce Jenner, turning his penis into a vagina. And it's not because the news it can only give it to you. It's all the knuckle-dragging rubes. That's all they want to hear.
And they're conditioned to it. Let me give you another story which I find fascinating. And I have not been, because I'm a native Floridian, have you ever looked up in the sky and seen where you ask yourself, is that a contrail or what is that? All these jets are flying back and forth and up and down and making hashtags and cross hatches. What is going on? Where are all these jets? Boy, these condensation, these contrails, they sure last a long time. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever looked up and seen this?
So I've
noticed it, but
I don't even want to get. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, do you believe in chemtrails? A lot of people do. A lot of people don't.
I don't even want to get it. I mean, that's an Alex Jones 2-hour show in itself.
No. Let me tell you what happened right now. You ready for this?
Make it short.
You just did it, Bubba, and you didn't realize it. This is a conspiracy theory, right? This is, here we go.
Well, chemtrails.
Okay, now.
Chemtrails, yeah.
In the Independent out of the UK, ready for this? Headline, February 15th, CIA, foreign powers may develop ability to manipulate the global climate undetected. This is all over the world. They're talking, they don't dismiss it up, chemtrails. Next, let's talk about Bruce Jenner again. Let's talk about that ball.
So you're saying
immediately we don't nothing about it. We love to dismiss it. Okay, that's one thing. Another story that came out, which is fantastic. And let me tell you something. It's hiding in plain sight. John Podesta, who worked with the Bill Clinton campaign, who now is working with Hillary, has been putting out information after information, saying for the longest time, one of my biggest regrets is not disclosing or not bringing to the attention more information about UFOs and disclosure. He has been saying this for I don't know how long. The Vatican has been talking about this. NASA has been talking about it. But I guarantee you, watch your local news show. The first 5 minutes will be, quote, news. Somebody standing in front of an accident, something about this, and then the duck playing the piano, things in your bathroom that can kill you, news, traffic, sports, weather. That's it. Now, this is around the world, if you Google it, people are talking about this. Why is this guy talking about this story? Because nobody in a news station, think about it, Channel 10, nobody locally, nobody that you know would ever say, hey, boss, yeah, can I just go out in the middle of, let's say, I don't know, the Polk County, look up and ask people, hey, do you ever wonder what these things are? I don't know what they are. Let's find out.
Mike Deason from Channel 10 would do that. Maybe.
Yeah, kind of like the heart machine and all that.
Ask, and what's going to happen? They're going to say, Mike, yeah, come in here for a minute. Yeah. What is this thing you're talking about?
I'm talking about chemtrails.
Well, how do you know? Well, I don't know if they're chemtrails. I know there's something called nanoparticulates. I know there are aspects called geoengineering, which a lot of people are talking about. I understand that is called reflectivity studies, and this thing called the albedo, ALBEDO, which countries and news organizations around the world have been talking about forever. But our silly news organizations say nothing. We know nothing.
We're dumb. You're saying basically we're a bunch of stupid knuckle-dragging Americans, like the movie Idiocracy. Did you ever see Idiocracy?
See it? I wrote it.
I mean,
yeah. But Lionel, the thing is, the thing that makes it worse, though, you have the media that they're not reporting on it, but then you also have the people that do believe in chemtrails that, but instead of saying it's more weather manipulation, they say that it's more to harm people, in that are in these cities. Of which, I mean, is there any truth to that, or is it just
I don't want to get into all that. Oh my God, chemtrails, bringing my buzz to zero.
I'm not even talking about it. I'm saying I want to know. I want to know more of what's going on. That's all I'm saying. So then, this past week, let me go back to where I started. Jon Stewart did more for news, was more of a newsman, was more smart. He wasn't anywhere near perfect, believe me, but did more to spend time. And one of the most incredible news shows that's on HBO is John Oliver. This guy will spend 10 minutes talking about payday loans, things that most news directors would say, people aren't going to watch that. Oh, yes, they are. Because, Bubba, what you're doing and what other people are doing is rewriting, redesigning this thing called news, entertainment, music, information. Do you know I get more Twitter traffic, I swear to God, from your show than anything I do? It's mind-boggling.
You get more hate, too. More trolls. Oh, yeah, you do.
Remember,
Please.
You only take flack when you're over the target.
You're right on that one.
You were talking this morning about, believe it or not, the liberty interest in, whether it's strip clubs, marijuana. This is serious business. Now, it may sound kind of lighthearted. It may sound, maybe not the end of the world, but you're talking about real, honest-to-God interest. And what's happening is people like Stewart, people on different platforms, people in different delivery systems. Let me tell you something. You watch Vice News. You look at what's happening. You see the Jurassic media, they don't really understand it. And the only way they're going to compete is to reset the rules, push the reset button, start all over again. I'm listening to radio. I'm hearing stuff from the 80s. Nothing's happened. Nothing's changed. Same jingle package, same everything. It's like that star that burned out in the horizon, and nobody knows the star's been gone for millions of years.
Lionel from Lionel Media. Last question, Lionel. What's going to happen to Brian Williams? I mean, is he too much of a rock star, like you said? Dan Rather and some of the old timers don't like his pop. You think he's toast?
Toast. I mean,
really?
so damn
come on.
They'll kill him because of that?
There were so many stories. We're talking about something that was almost a pathology. And you know what? I felt sorry for him because, he was dying watching the SNL 40th anniversary. He would have given anything to be there.
And had this scandal not been down, he probably, arguably, would have been there. He's one of the hottest brands in New York, is he not? I mean, a New York function is better served if they have the ability to get Brian Williams right? I mean, up until this scandal, he had the it factor, did he not?
Well, he was. Oh, yes, but not anymore. Apparently, what's happening is you're seeing this weird kind of a. You found out that wow, we didn't know about this, and then all of a sudden you realize, when you find out somebody that you work with, had a drinking problem or a drug problem or a gambling problem, and then as you sit around the newsroom or the bullpen, somebody says, "Well, did you know about the arrest?" The arrest. Well, did you know about this? And then you realize, oh, my God, how did I not know this? But here's the thing. This past week also we lost Bob Simon. Bob Simon from CBS was one of the last of the honest-to-God, real journalists, the ones who went places.
Nobody wants that anymore, though. People want Brian Williams.
No.
America, the idiocracy part of America, the knuckle dragon guys from Warsaw, Indiana, they want Brian Williams all propped up and sexy.
25 said it best. The people that are my enemy, the people that I fear the most, it's not the government, but the individual who is sitting and goes, oh, that's silly. Oh, that's conspiracy theory. Oh, that's left wing. Oh, that's right wing. Oh, that's Fox News. Oh, that they want to dismiss it. We love to destroy any kind of ideas, and you'll never hear me say ever that this is so. What I advocate is to explore it, to talk about it. We don't even want to talk about it. If there's nothing there, fine, because remember, you only take flack when you're over the target.
Lionel from Lionel Media. Lionel, I disagree with you. I think Brian Williams comes back, and as you say toast, I say he's bigger and better than. I say that he rebrands himself. He plays the "I'm sorry" martyr card. Everybody makes a mistake. There's really bigger and worse things happening over there abroad. The Pat Tillman things like that. I think he comes. No, but I mean the real stories of Iraq. Not that some journalist fibbed about where he. I'm just saying. I think he comes back bigger and better than ever.
The American public have no.
We don't care about news anymore.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon may be able to save them.
But hold on, Lionel. You're kind of being contradictive in the fact that the American public doesn't care about credible news anymore. We don't do it. We don't cover it. We don't even cover some of the biggest controversies that are happening in our own country, chemtrails and things like that.
The next time Brian Williams comes forward, you're going to see back to the hashtag again, Brian Williams, misremembers. Were you around years ago in Tampa when Hugh Smith, remember him from Channel 13?
Yes.
Okay, this is a guy who came out, did the best one ever. He came forward and he said, and one of the things Brian Williams did was, when you're caught, admit it.
Yeah.
Go overboard. When Hugh Smith was arrested, he came out and he said, listen, I've let you down. I'm quitting. I'm through. People said, no, don't. He didn't hold anything back. The first thing Brian Williams did, what did he say? Well, I might have misremembered. I don't really know. I'm sorry. It's like, no, you ruined it. People hate that. But the irony is that Hillary Clinton, who wants to be president, maybe, was talking about running in this serpentine style as Bosnian snipers were trying to hit her, and that never happened. We had a war in Iraq and Afghanistan that was a lie. WMDs, they were a lie. Nigerian yellow cake, a lie. Pat Tillman, Jessica Lynch, a lie. We're still covering up Saudi Arabia and 9/11. It's a lie. It's a lie. The American public is not interested because it's not sexy. There's no hashtag, and it takes a little bit of reading. It takes a little bit of reading and maybe pretending to be interested. The only reason, I think 25 mentioned Lucy's before, the only reason that the Eric Garner case, in addition, because the facts
the
were
black guy from New York that got choked out for selling Lucy's.
This is the man who was
I
choked.
can't breathe, yeah.
When the I can't breathe hashtag came about, that was it. Now,
so you're saying nothing's going to be relevant in our dumbass country unless it's hashtagable.
And
that's the way it's going,
let me tell you, right now, as we speak, there is a chance for change. And let me tell you, the revolution is there. Jon Stewart did it. John Oliver's doing it. What's going to save is not only alternative media, but brave broadcasters and corporate folks who realize, hey, guys, we're being swamped here. Look at Vice News. Look at what TMZ. Look at what The Wrap is doing. This is just entertainment. I get updates from these groups. You mentioned Alex Jones. Look at RT, Al Jazeera, CCTV in China, The Independent. Just go around the Drudge Report. By the time the 6 p.m., let me ask you, by the time the 6 p.m. news comes on locally, are you really shocked by anything? Why do we still do traffic on TV? Explain that one to me. Do we have TVs in our cars? By the time you get in your car, it's over with because we're stuck in the 60s. We haven't changed. We're still doing weather. No, unless there's a hurricane coming.
I go right to my weather app. That's how I know about the weather. I don't ever watch TV for them, and I don't watch it for sports either because I got the ESPN
app. As a
kid,
we would look at TV for weather, but as an adult, no, you don't.
Lionel from Lionel Media on the phone. Lionel, what else you got for me in closing? You done?
Well, I'm done. I don't like the sound of that. All I'm saying is this, Bubba, keep doing this. If there's a rule, break it, and remember. When you're over the target, that's when you catch flack. That's when people get upset. If nobody complains, if nobody's angry, if nobody says, stop that guy, cut him, then you're just like everybody else.
If they're like the great Hulk Hogan says, if they're not nipping at your heels, you're not over anymore. Period.
It's all the work, baby.
It is. Lionel, we love you, man. We'll see you in 2 Tuesdays.
Love you back.
Bye now. Lionel Media.